Hello and welcome to Sami Parvez Show. Today I'm joined by David Eckstrom, who is one of independent candidates ran in this Toronto St. Paul's by-election, and the by-election was won by conservative candidate Don Stewart against Leslie Church, a liberal candidate who was the favorite to win this by-election, but unfortunately it was an unexpected result in this by-election. As Toronto St. Paul has been a strong hold for liberals for last 3 decades, but suddenly it has been changed. Last night, when Canadians were sleeping, three things happened. Edmonton Oilers lost in the Stanley Cup Final against Florida Panthers by just one goal. They scored two, and Edmonton Oilers just could score one goal. In Toronto St. Paul's by-election, Conservatives won this election, and Afghanistan cricket team qualified to the semi-final in ICC T20 World Cup for the first time in history, and there was an stunning match last night. They just won. They just defeat. They just won by 8 runs by Duck Lewis method against Bangladesh. We will be discussing about what happened last night, Toronto St. Paul's by-election, and the current Canadian affairs, and what will happen in future, and will Justin Trudeau resign anytime soon. Thank you so much, Donovan, joining me today. It's a pleasure to have you again on Sami Parvez Show.
Sammy, you tall glass of water. How the heck are you doing?
I'm doing great. What about you?
You know, I'm okay. The Oilers lost. Were you watching the hockey game last night?
Yeah, I watched it till the end.
Yeah, it was quite disheartening as the time went down. But say, Levy, what do you think? What do you think was the Oilers' problem? They got too tired. I think it was a bit of tiredness. You have to fly back and forth, and Corey Perry, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah, so it was hard, but they had a great comeback, like down three, then winning three straight games and scoring like 5 goals.
Yeah, 8 goals, 5 goals.
8 goals.
But it doesn't, it doesn't, you can come back from any, but it's the win that matters. So we'll see what happens next year. Connor McDavid will get mad. It might be kind of exciting to watch, but we'll see.
Yeah, last night actually 3 things happened. What I was focusing on first, like Stanley Cup, and second was like Toronto St. Paul's by-election, and third one there was a like cricket match which mostly Canadians don't watch, but I was watching that one too.
I watch a little bit of the IPL. I cheer for the Kolkata Knight Riders. That's my team when I watch the IPL. But no, cricket's been great. Cricket's been been quite exciting. Canada's been doing well. They got their first win, I think, a couple of weeks ago against Ireland. Which has been quite thrilling to watch. And but it's been too much. It's been for a Monday in June, Sammy. There's been a lot going on.
Yeah, there were too much going on. Like last night, I did not know should I. So I started focusing on cricket. Then I thought, oh, there is a hockey match too. So I put it. I transferred to to hockey match. Then when the hockey match done, then I focused on cricket, and also there was by-election.
That went and
until I went to bed, there was no result on by-election, but there were 2 other results. And Afghanistan team won like last night. It was a thrilling match. They just qualified for the first time in the history. They've qualified for the semi-final in ICT T20 World Cup. Yep. And how are you feeling after receiving 6 votes in Toronto?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Six Torontonians that believe in the Alberta dream. I had 0 for a long time, and then I got 1, and then those big polls came in, the advanced polls came in, and all of a sudden I shot up to 6. So I stayed up as late as I could, which was for me about 12:30, so about 2:30 Toronto time, and I was like, I can't. do this. I need to
Yeah.
sleep. I have stuff to do.
Hmm.
But it was remarkable waking up.
Yeah.
Really kind of exciting to see. Actually, the whole thing was quite fascinating. The big
Yeah.
ballot,
Hmm.
Stewart, the conservative pulling it
Yeah.
out. Like, so there's a lot of numbers to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. So like liberal, the conservative candidate, Don Stewart won the race. It was just unpredictable. I don't think any mainstream media or anyone was expecting he is going to win. There were a couple of like pollsters who predicted that, but they were not like famous. But also I heard like uh, Eric from like he's a great pollster before he was with CBC. He predicted that Don Stewart will win it, but he was with the I forgot his name, but he runs 338 Canada like
Oh, Philippe
yeah, yeah,
Fournier.
yeah, Professor Fournier. So he told him, he shared that clip. I did not watch their discussion, but he shared that clip. Eric said that thing that we will wake up in the morning. It will be Don Stewart. So lots of like thing happened suddenly, and no one was predicting it. And there were the largest ballot in the history of federal election, 84 candidates, 75 from like independent candidate, 9 from different parties, including main parties, and also like, yeah, it is over. And there were some speculation that Trudeau would resign if he would lose in this riding because they kept it for like last 3 decades. It was a safe riding for them, but it was a tough. Over 20 ministers were sent to this riding just to campaign.
Yeah, no, it is. There's a lot. There's a lot of like this is like a really big catalyst moment, I guess, in Canadian politics of like what's going to happen next. And just following. Yeah, you're right. Like a lot of the pollsters, a lot of the Twitter ones, even well, I follow Eric Grenier and Philippe Fournier, and they have a thing called the numbers. And they were even saying it's going to be close, and it was
Yeah.
close. It was within 590 votes of each
Yes.
other. But it was still like even at the very start, Leslie Church, the Liberal, had only like an 11-point lead
Yeah.
for the first couple of polls.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, that's still like the Liberals won by like over 20. So now
Mhm.
it's 11. You're like, that's bad. And then all of a sudden, it like another comes in. Now it's 8 points, and then 5. And then I went to bed when it was
Yeah.
4.2%. And
Mhm.
then like it is an absolutely remarkable thing. Yeah, like there was a lot of online posters that were like, it's going to be a close conservative win.
Yes.
Nobody was suggesting, unless you're like crazy, no
Yeah.
one was suggesting that it was going to be like a liberal safe win.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also the long ballot candidates ended
Yeah.
up with almost 1,000 votes. The
Yeah.
independents
It
did,
is. Yeah. It is 862 votes. You got
and when within the 590 that Leslie Church needed, which is like, it highlights the problems, I guess. So, then I said, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of proportional representation. I think first past the post has some qualities that are very good, but like, that's almost like, this is what happens
Mhm.
when you live by the sword and die by the sword. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was really neat. And yeah, we're kind of at this point now where what happens on Friday? What do you think's going to happen, Sammy? Before you think it's going to happen, do you think he's going to step down? What do you think is going to take place?
So I'm not a big pollster, neither a tycoon or pundit, but I think he is going to resign because whenever somebody is going to resign, they will never say it. But I think because there are some speculation, because I was reading, there were many were talking about this thing. He will resign if he won't, maybe he would be forced. Maybe there could be a breakdown between the liberals, like caucus members. Like it means all are not united again. Even though I was reading a tweet, I don't recall exactly the name. Somebody said some people, liberal, tried to vote conservative because they wanted to get rid of Trudeau. I don't know it was true or not, but the I read the tweet. Now I wish I would noted that one, but there was suggested because they wanted to get rid of Trudeau to lose in this election, and Trudeau wanted to show people that it means despite what conservative is talking about, we can win. Like you lost, it means the lose. So you are gone, you must resign. Like it has been 9 years and people are sick and tired, even though this Toronto St. Paul's riding proves it. So yeah, we are sick of. You need to get.
Yeah, it was also like, because I was sort of thinking about it, like if they had won by like 2%,
Yeah,
is that still, it'd be like out in Alberta,
yeah,
right? And the Conservatives beat the Liberals by 2%. I think everyone would be freaking out. They'd be like,
yeah,
this is not optimal. But
yeah.
like, and it feels as if almost that the Liberals have been on on a ship without a compass for the last probably 5 years. And now
Yes.
they're in the middle of the ocean. And now you have to make a choice. It's like, and it's like you can stick with Trudeau and hope that maybe a Trump win in the States
Yeah,
will make people be like, oh, we need a progressive voice. You
yeah.
got to like really hope. You have to like really hope that that works. But I don't know where you go from. Like, I think if you're the Liberals, you have to pick it. You need to go a direction. It's
Yes.
like go for an interim leader and
Yeah,
have them get slaughtered next year,
yeah,
and then do a leadership
yeah.
race, and then say, but like, God, could you imagine the unenviable task of being the new Liberal leader? I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, Sammy. Like, not only do you have to sit down and say, I am not Justin Trudeau,
No.
I am someone different, but you have to also fix the entire image of the Liberal Party. Like, you have to sit down, because like the Liberals are getting shellacked in Newfoundland provincially. Everything, if you're the name Liberal makes Canadians
Yeah,
want to throw up. So
yeah.
like it's like, I don't know. There's almost like, at a certain point, I can see every option making sense if Justin Trudeau sticks on and says, and then they lose, and he says it was my fault. You get a new leader in. You
Yeah,
just have to now have 4 years of Conservatives.
yeah.
But I don't know. It's like the Liberal brand is as radioactive as the elephant's foot at Chernobyl, Sammy. Like, I don't know what you do. Like, they are in the middle of this ocean, and
Yeah.
they have no idea what to do. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think Friday when they go on summer break, or are they already on summer
No,
break?
they are already on summer break, but true,
Yeah.
like Chrystia Freeland, like did a press conference today, and she said that Trudeau is not going anywhere. He will stay until the next election. Trudeau also said that, oh, we need to do more. What what the hell are you going to do more? You are keep saying the same sentence repeatedly since 2015. So you said, yes, we need to do more. We need to do more. What do you need to do more? You have been in power for 9 years. We don't have. We have a foreign interference. MPs are working for foreign powers. We don't know who the hell are they, and people are unemployed. As I can give myself example, I'm unemployed for almost like 7 months. You know why? Because there are too many people. Even though there are large number of immigrants, it means there could be many illegal immigrants too, which are like Mark Miller said, the Minister of Immigration. We need to give them a status. It means make them permanent residents to reduce the number of illegal immigrants in Canada, or temporary worker. It means they are taking our jobs. I'm a Canadian citizen, or there are many. Like last March, if I'm not wrong, more than 1 million people moved to food bank. So it means everything is just crazy going on. Now, I need to know what Prime Minister wants to do more, as he couldn't do in the past 9 years. So it means you should take some responsibility. Yesterday the Edmonton Oilers lost. They cannot blame anyone else than themselves. They cannot put a finger on the farmer captain or farmer coach. they should deal it with themselves. You cannot do anything about that one. So what's your thought?
No, that's a fair point. Then we talked about this the last time when it comes to immigration, where it sort of just feels like it, because there are places that need workers. Like, it's like as mentioned, like there's communities up here in Alberta where it's like high prairie or high level has enough doctors. Like there needs to sort of be a more strategic thing with it. But you're right that it is almost like an insane thing to hear that there's a lot of problems with Canada, but we're going to fix it. And you're like, okay, you've been in power for the last 9 years. It's about time to, I wonder who's like, you can only blame Stephen Harper for your ills for so long until you have to start realizing that there's something wrong there. And so I'm just trying to think, just looking back at those results, NDP didn't do, they also are hemorrhaging.
Should I share that very point?
Because I think they dropped like almost, I think, 6 points as well.
Yes, like they were just like 10%, like around 11.
Yeah, and I think that they were at like 16 the last election. So it's like, it's not even you can't even sit down and say that there's liberal it's like the Liberals and NDP. I think that, when you're associated with Justin Trudeau, that also doesn't particularly help you too much. And what else? Other interesting things. Greens, not too good.
PPC could not do much. Like,
oof. What do you think about that, Sami? What do you think is going to be
I think this is very poor performance by PPC. As I asked, like Maxime Bernier, like you have been leader since you formed the party. Why don't you call a leadership review? He said we did a polling and it was a third party, and party members say no, we want to keep you. Why do they want you keep you in when you are doing nothing? You lost your seat. You did not well. You supposed to won the Manitoba by-election where you are campaigning, like you are there, you are arrested. So I think it does not make any sense. If I would be the advisor of Maxime Bernier, I would recommend please step down and let's do a leadership review and call an election for new leadership.
Yeah, like you wonder what's been going, because it seems like he disappears for a few months and then he reappears and does some fundraising and then disappears again.
Yeah.
But the thing with the PPC though is that they're still making money, which is because you need money. I don't know where it's go. I'd have to look at the funds, but at least you're able to get something going. But like riding, they're kind of in another not too great situation, because just how people. It's similar in a way, I guess, to what happened out in Alberta in 2015, where people are so frustrated that they're just, I'm going to pick the other big option and ignore everything else. Like, I don't care. We're going to pick this other thing. So that'll be an interesting what'll take place. You almost have to like, and it's irritating to say this, particularly if you're a fan of the PPC, but you almost similar with how the Liberals, you almost have to lose to start to get better. If you're the PPC, you almost have to lose real bad, and then the Conservatives will start making mistakes, and then you can kind of come in. But that's like you're telling people to wait 5 years to give your big moment of glory. I don't know how that's going to work out. How patient PPC supporters are going to be, being like, listen, not great right now, but Pierre Poilievre is going to make mistakes. We're going to show how he's not actually conservative. So you just have to be patient. Just wait 4 more years. Give us money. Don't worry. Just wait 4 more years and we'll be good. And that's not necessarily a great idea either.
But I believe it could be very dangerous. It is my personal opinion. Like, it means if you are going to give a Conservative Party a landslide majority where over 200 like MPs sit in one side, and they could be selected by Pierre Poilievre, whoever we have seen, like the riding in Calgary riding, there was it could be like two candidates were disqualified. But it seemed then there was Oxford in Ontario, Oxford riding. It means Andrew Scheer and Pierre Poilievre supported that candidate. I mean, they brought up their own favorite candidate. If they are keep doing this thing, they are not working for Canadians, but they are doing everything for their personal interest. We don't know what will happen, but you cannot kick them out just within. Like, we don't have any constitution or rules to recall a prime minister or a minister or MP. So if so, then now the balls come in PPC court, because they have to do something better, should take some seats to sit in the House of Commons to have a voice who disagree with the Pierre Poilievre. So they will come to you because they have conservative ideology, you know. Like, let's say if somebody is dissatisfied with Liberal, they will go to NDP. If they are dissatisfied with either of them, they will go to Green. But in the House of Commons, there is no alternative for the Conservative except the Bloc. Bloc does not work for Canadians' interest, but the Quebec. You know, so this could be like I don't know what should I say. This I would say it might be, my word is harsh, but I think it could be very dangerous.
Yeah, you'd hope that you almost get like one PPC, at least one PPC next year.
Yeah.
To sort of stand up and say, look at what's going on here. Like, that's almost like the best case scenario is that one PPC managed to get in, but you're gonna have to start campaigning now. Like you have a year and a bit to go. You got to start getting going there. And then you can start to say it. But yeah, it is because what might happen is that you're gonna, well, it's already, you know, we see the little bubblings of it with the Conservative Party, where like Arnold Viersen, the Peace River Westlock MP, who talked about being pro-life, and then had to put out a statement. Like, there's some bubbling there, and you would hope that like they go to the PPC if they're really that dissatisfied. But they might just do their own thing and make like, we're going to be the Reform Party, and now you're going to have like 3 Conservative parties, which would just be like, it's a gamble. Yeah, you really hope if you're the PPC, you can get at least one seat, sort of like the Greens. You get one in there, you can complain, and then you get some like nice video of you looking all like prim and proper in the House of Commons. But I don't know. I think the Conservative machine is so well oiled right now. That's going to be very difficult to do. So we'll see. We'll see what takes place next year. But so far, it's crazy. Usually a by-election is like, whatever. But there's all these questions now that kind of come out of this by-election, which is quite neat to see.
Yeah, I don't know. You read Brian Lilly, Toronto Sun columnist. He said the like by-election does not matter until they do matter. It means you know, like, it mattered on this by-election because it shows that it means it was a referendum for Conservative and Liberals. So who is performing better? So the vote showed, Liberals are doing poor performance. You know, though you receive like 40% of the vote, or like you are just behind 1.6, but yes, you lost. There is something you need to reconsider or see what went bad. You know, like the Chrystia Freeland calling those don't vote for Liberal, they are cold, and she used 2 other terms. I don't recall it. I mean, this is disgusting. You know, this is unacceptable that you are calling those do not vote you. It means it means you can call them, it means racist. You know, remember during COVID, Justin Trudeau called like Canadian misogynist, like they have unacceptable or views on Canadians. So now you are calling your opponents. It's a name.
It's not a good idea when you start like it works a little bit. It's not necessarily, it works initially, but like when you keep referring to it as that, and you know, you're mentioning it, like I talk to people that are unemployed,
Yeah.
and it's like you keep hearing that, and then it's like, okay, like this is not this is not a great. I now it's like, wait a second, because I'm struggling now, I'm all of these sorts of things.
Yeah.
It's not it's interesting when you think back to 2015 and how Trudeau said sunny ways, and how
Anyway.
I'm never going to be negative. I'm a Mr. Positive, and
Mhm.
then voila, it all goes sideways
Mhm.
as soon as, well, and that's typical of politics, right? Things are good until they're not. It's just
Yes.
like Brian Lilly. By-elections don't matter until they do. Politics, everything's fine until it's not. And now we have to just all hands on deck and panic. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So Chrystia Freeland words were cold, cruel, and small. Yeah, those voted. I said those voted for Don Stewart. Yes, you are cold, cruel, and small. These
Yeah,
are
the half
the
half of the voters,
elected.
half of the voters are cold girl. Like, those.
Yeah, these 15,000, 15,000, 555, those voted yes for conservative. Yes, you are cold, cruel, and similar. Like Trudeau told unvaccinated Canadians, you are racist and misogynist. You are un-Canadian. You have unacceptable views.
Yeah, that's not how you make friends, Sammy.
Yeah.
I think here's my as a rhinoceros party candidate. I think you need to start. I think you just need to be kind.
Mhm.
I think you should just say positive things. And I think maybe next, you have a summer,
Yeah.
spend some time with the family, drink a couple of margaritas on the beach, relax,
Mhm.
take her easy, decompress, and come back. And I think every MP should just do a bunch of LSD,
Yeah.
and then they'll be good to go. And I think DMT, yeah, I don't know, let's turn the House of Commons into the House of Ayahuasca,
Mhm.
and watch everybody float. And
Yeah.
then I think the world would be a far better place.
Mhm.
I
So,
think that.
yeah. So, how do you see your party will be in the next election? Are you running as an MP in the next election?
Yeah, I'll run next election. I'll run. I won't be an independent. I'll run for the Rhinoceros Party,
Mhm.
the satirical political party. And well, the Rhinos didn't do too. I think Sean Carson got over 50 votes for it sort of was in that top tier of the election
Mhm.
last night. So I think that it'll be. I think there will be more growth. I think there's a lot of people that are frustrated with all sides, and that always helps the satirical political party. Um, but I don't know. We'll see. Rhinoceros Party, we kind of live in our whole little world. We party. We like to have fun.
Don't you consider merging with other small parties like PPC and other, like, to come together as on one platform? You don't agree? Your views are more conservative or liberals? Like,
No, I'm an anarcho syndicalist here, Sammy. I believe that unions should run everything. So I am like, nobody really stands for me. But like, this is like another thing here where I'm like, I think that we're all stuck in this box where it's like we have to vote liberal, NDP,
mhm,
conservative, or green.
mhm.
But I think that there's so many other parties that have, and
Yeah,
I think they all have a place. I don't think you
yes.
should have them all combined and sort of say that we're all kind of in a similar message, because then that becomes weird. It
Mhm,
becomes this weird plurality, which is odd to me.
mhm,
I think that every party has its place. And that's why one of the big things, and I think I said, I'm not necessarily a big fan of proportional representation, but I think it does answer some of the questions of being able to be your own party and
yeah.
being able to do somewhat well,
Mhm,
um, which is not too shabby.
yeah.
But I don't think, I said, I'm neither. There's no real party that stands out for me. I think, I guess pre 1990s, I would have been an NDP supporter because
Mhm,
they were very much about the working class. But now they've been infiltrated by lobbyists, and that becomes a whole new discussion that we can talk about later.
mhm,
Sammy, next election we can start chatting a little bit more about lobbyists
mhm,
and have that whole thing. But really, there's not too many options available, and that's why I like the Rhino Party. I
mhm,
can kind of be funny. I can be
yeah.
silly,
Mhm,
which is good. The party whip isn't going to hit me with
yeah.
a whip. It's not
Mhm.
a dominatrix, Sammy, so that's good. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't
like
know.
what we see, like in UK, there are like multiple parties. It means one party don't, yeah, one party would win a like landslide victory, like Conservative did, like over a decade, but there are other parties too, like Greens and Reform, and there are, I don't know, there are some Democratic, though the Conservative and Labour, they are the like most popular parties, but there are other parties. It means they do well there too. I mean, they elect their representatives, so they have the voice, but don't know when it will take, like for Canada, for Canadians to change their strategy to 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 get some other candidate. Don't should not be dependent on two particular parties, because you hate one and you want the you will move to other. You need to find the third party, otherwise these two folks will be governing forever. Nothing will change.
Yeah, it's insanity's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And if you look at Canadian history, there's been one of two parties that have
Yeah,
governed, and outside of 2011,
yeah,
well, one party has been, or I guess 2011 in the 90s when the Bloc were, but like you only have it's either liberals or conservatives, and
yeah,
that's been the way it goes. And then you're shocked when things don't work out. Yeah, you need to almost have that liberation where
yeah,
you suddenly, and I think and I've talked to some people who voted for me. Shockingly, when I run for the Rhinos, I get like 300 votes sometimes. And I
mm,
talked to a couple people who have said like I voted conservative my entire life,
mm,
but I didn't feel that there was an option for me, and I felt kind of left. And so I voted for you, and it felt good. Like it felt like the proverbial shackles were freed. The weights are off your shoulders. It's like, oh wait, there can be another choice.
yes,
And and I think that's sort of I said, like when it comes to proportional representation, that allows that opportunity
mhm,
to have these smaller parties have some success and start to grow, right? Like it was like the one election, the Greens had like over 1 million votes.
mm,
Like they had almost as many votes as the NDP,
yeah,
and then they get 2 seats and the NDP get like 30 or whatever. And you're like, this doesn't something seems fundamentally messed up here when you start to look at that.
mhm,
But yeah, I think it's just gonna be you almost hope that it keeps getting worse a little bit.
mhm,
Like you hope that like Pierre comes in and is also really bad, yeah, and which is probably true because he's a career politician. Uh, and I don't trust a politician as far as I can throw them, which isn't very far, Sammy. I'm not. I might be like somewhat. I've got a little bit of muscles, but
yeah,
like throwing. I don't like Pierre Poilievre seems like dense. Like
yeah,
he seems like he would be a dense person, not mentally,
yeah,
but like just dense as like weight. Like
mhm,
he seems just thick. And I
yeah,
think trying to throw Pierre, I wouldn't be able to throw him too far. So, but and he said you kind of hope that it gets worse in
yeah,
a weird, sick way for people to be like, God, even the conservatives suck. The liberals suck. The conservatives suck. Everybody sucks. And you're like, oh, look at that. There's all these other ones.
mm,
But that also leads to like the whole thing of like political part they've been established for so long, right? Like liberals have been around since Canada was a
mhm,
country,
yeah,
the natural governing party of Canada, and
mhm,
that's a messed up sentence.
yeah,
And you're like, no, it's nothing. It's like you got to expect that there'd be some change, but they have so much money going in there.
mhm.
um so yeah, hope it gets a little bit worse so that everybody suddenly goes, I need to get rid of this, and then the smaller parties have some
Yeah,
success.
but it will take time. Like we have seen, like back in 2019 election, like an NDP independent candidate was elected. Miss Jody Wilson-Raybould. She was the first woman to be get elected as an independent candidate. I mean, this was a great outcome, but then she suddenly then said, "No, I'm not going to do longer to run again." But if she would come back and Dr. Jane Pelport, and if we had some candidate like them, so it could make a change, like it could encourage other people to think about it and to vote for people like them. So I think this could make a change, but I don't know when will we see again such thing, but we don't see it. And I also just say something about what you are talking about, the Trudeau and Labour. So do you know that United BC party, they changed their name from Liberal to United, because liberals, like it means it made the reputation of liberal worse. They need to distance themselves from federal liberals. It means the same party, same strategy, everything is same. The goals and all the things are same, but they changed their name because people are seeing them. It means don't like them. It means hating them. you know
Well, I think
yeah.
I think BC liberals were still a little bit more on the right. But like it's just the name, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's because I think BC liberals were more fiscally conservative
Yeah.
than the federal
Mhm.
liberals,
Mhm.
and they had no connection. But it's just the name, and everybody goes, "Good God!" Like if I'm the Newfoundland liberal, I would run ad campaigns saying we're not the
Yeah.
federal liberals. That would just be the only campaign you run, and you just sort of infers to the point where people go, "Oh yeah, these guys, they're not those liberals." Like you have to do, which is, but like to be fair, BC United, they're also just plummeting. That is an entirely
Yes.
different discussion there, Sammy.
Mhm.
That is the big oops of
Mhm.
of of that whole thing.
Yeah, but this is good thing, like this BC, like this United will go down, but the conservative should form a government because the NDP is ruling for too long. I think a government should not rule twice, like a prime minister should have a limit. I think every like legislature member should have a time limit. If you keep continue govern, it means you are not going to work for the Canadian taxpayers, but for yourself. You just need this and power, sit in the seat, and no one can touch you. Recent like foreign elections. It means the did you listen the interview of RCMP commissioner? He said that the name should not come public because it would be out of control. It means they don't have power. The police does not have a power to arrest an elected official. How come?
I know. I wish I was a politician. Like if I won, because then I would just be the most slanderous. I would just call all of my enemies like child predators, and then be like, "Yo, you can't do anything because I've got parliamentary privilege." Ha
Yeah.
ha. And then be like, "Ah, what are you going to do about it? You're going to sue me? Guess what? Parliamentary privilege." Yeah, there's like, but Canada kind of yeah, you're right that there should be almost like a term limit. At the very least, when it comes to like the gold pension, if you win like 3 times in a row, if you're in then 12 years, then sure you should probably get it. I don't think the 5 years makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
but Canada kind of I will say that like as a country, we do kind of boot people out every 10 or so years. That
Yeah.
seems to be like the magic number for your political dynasty in Canada.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, bye. As soon as you overstay your welcome a little bit, then we kind of naturally do it. But it might be nice to have a full term limit. And yeah, you're not wrong. It's like I sort of find that with a lot of parties. It's like, well, as an Albertan, we're led by dynasties, right? It's like the PCs were in power for 40 years, and then before that was the Social Credit Party for 40 years, and then the UFA for United Farmers of Alberta for 20 years. And then yeah, you start to get a little, it eventually breaks down where it becomes corrupt, and that's just human nature at that point. But yeah, even it's like if you're conservative and you've been in power for 8 years, your time is probably expired, and we
Yeah.
should get somebody new and with new ideas, and then that new thing should expire after about 8 years, and
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, same thing happens in US. Every after 8 years, you will see a new face in the White House. So it means they will just kick out. Just Trump was the recent one who was kicked out after 4 years. But one term, usually a president just can run for two terms, and our prime ministers run for lifetime. And in Ontario, Doug Ford keeps running. He's in
But
power.
that's fun because then you get the same person forever.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. It's almost like North Korea, which
Mhm.
is kind of cool. You get a cult of personality about you. Being like, oh, look, it's that guy who's been around for 40 years and he's still there. Good for him. There's some kind of fun to it. You know, we have a big picture of our dear leader on our walls. I wish that'd be kind of neat.
Yeah. Yeah, but don't you think the pension thing should extend? Like it is just for 6 years. It should be double, 12 years.
I think 8 years because that's like 2 terms, and if you win a third one, then I think that then you've earned it.
Yes.
Because like MPs make $200,000. Most of your expenses are paid.
Yeah.
If you join a committee, they'll give you an extra like 20 grand. It's like crazy the amount of money that goes there.
Yeah.
And it's like if you're in like if you put half of that $200,000 because your flights are paid for, everything's covered.
Yeah.
Put half of that $200,000 into a pension plan. Like just do that. Put half of your salary in there. After 4 years, you're gonna have $400,000 set away. That's more than most people have in a pension after like 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, and you get that in $400,000. You retire, and then you just sort of pull out 20,000 for 20. You're golden. But yeah, I think it's that third term.
Yeah.
If you win your third term,
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay, I have no issue with you getting a pension for forever, because people will win, people will do that. And if people really like you, great, good, awesome, sure, get your pension, enjoy it, and then you have to like work for it a little bit, and then but yeah, I think the 6 or 5, is it 6 years? It has to be like a term and a half. Too short. You gotta.
Even though like right now they are trying to extend the election date, like it is October 19. They want to extend it for a week for more 25.
Oh yeah,
to get lifetime pension. You know, an average Canadian would never ever make more than 40,000. And
yeah,
yeah,
good Lord. Yeah. Sammy, if I ever became an MP, I would want to throw up making $200,000 of taxpayer dollars. Makes me want to puke. I would be like, I can't. Like, I need to get rid of this. Yeah, that's too much. But at the same time, you don't want to pay them too little, because that's when you have corruption, right? It's like you ought to try to balance this off. You have a lot of power. Sure, you're getting paid well. There's a discussion to be had, but yeah, it's to extend the election by a week is a little wild. And you're like, yeah.
So nothing. So it is nothing other than just giving those MPs extra bump. And NDP Jagmeet Singh opposed it. I don't know what will happen with this. Maybe the government will fall down. No one knows until in the next fall, when the house sit.
Could you imagine Trudeau calls an election, a snap election?
I don't know. Maybe maybe he will do a gambling like Macron did. Macron did it, and also
Rishi Sunak. Yeah, yeah, like that.
Yeah, Rishi Sunak will be destroyed. He is going to lose his own seat. In the history of first time, a sitting prime minister can't win his own seat. So,
yeah, Montreal, it's all gone. It's all, yeah. It'll be what, like 40 seats if they're lucky. Like, oof. And that's like, there's some of those maps look very funny. The prediction polling maps look bizarre. There's all the blue and then the little specks of red throughout.
But they will take it because they are governing over a decade. I think conservatives were doing very well until David Cameron called the referendum, because it was his promise in the election. He is going to call a referendum to leave or stay in EU. This was just a 1 point difference. So leave, it means it left. So it destroyed like young generations. They cannot go to work, other European countries. The laws change. I don't know what you need to do with that one. And even though when after that election, I have noticed also the economy of Canada also, it went down. The loonie also, it's like it came down. It means it changed the entire world. It means economy and things, whatever dependent on UK. So it means everything has been changed. But this was a very bad referendum. The result was bad, and David Cameron stepped down, and somebody else took it. They kept changing the PM, and they gave a hard time to British citizen. So now they are sick of it. I don't know how the last guy who came in after Elizabeth. Her name was Elizabeth. I don't recall the another.
Yeah, they had like she was prime minister for what 20 days or whatever, and
No,
then
not that one. Before her, there was been
Theresa. Is it Theresa
Theresa
May?
May. After Theresa May, who won the election?
Oh my God, it's too many. There's too
Yeah,
many.
yeah, I know. After that guy came in, and he also stand, but then he was forced to outset. Like then that woman came in, took the power for 20 days, and then they also voted outset him from their party. Then Rishi Sunak came. Rishi Sunak was not elected by the conservative member. He was elected by MPs. The conservative caucus member. So
That
yeah,
becomes a whole other thing, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, they've gone through in 6 years, they've gone through like six leaders.
yes,
Just that's not a really good way of winning.
yeah,
If you're
yeah,
it's well the Canadian Conservatives can tell you that much. They went through Scheer and then O'Toole, and now
yeah.
they got you kind of like you got
Uh,
to pick
yeah,
someone and stick to
yeah.
it.
But we did not change a single prime minister everywhere. The change UK, US changed three presidents. Australia changed two. I don't know, maybe three prime minister, maybe four.
Yeah.
New Zealand changed three prime minister. France is like with the same guy, but it may is the second one, but maybe he will be gone soon. And Germany changed their second chancellor. Yeah,
Yeah,
Canada.
yeah. The G7 looks very interesting, where it's just the one guy has stayed the same, while it's just sort of like a crazy amount. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but Trudeau is the oldest guy in the G7. I hope he will be gone very soon.
oh, he's
Yes,
beautiful though.
right.
What about it? But
Because
he's so beautiful.
yeah,
He's a beautiful man,
yeah,
Sammy. His face is beautiful. Justin Trudeau's a beautiful man. Not as beautiful as you though. Sammy, you're a tall glass of water. Drink you up. Goodness gracious.
yeah, because of him, like I just need to confess something here. I volunteered for Liberal Party back in 2016. Yeah, I was very excited when I was watching and politics and
All of us were.
yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
was. There was a Trudeau mania. Part
yeah,
two. It
yeah.
was like the 70s all over again.
Yeah, then I got broken because of his embarrassing India trip and then mistreating Madam Jody Wilson-Raybould and Dr. Jane Pelpo. I said, go to hell. I'm done with your party. Like I spent that time $50 and I don't know how many donations I gave, but around $60 and campaigned for a by-election in Saskatoon back in 2016 or 2017. You know, uh, so it means I did something, but everyone, maybe there are many people like they are broken from Trudeau. Yeah, he still seems like he's young but not energetic, decent, smart, look, nice face. Yeah, he can convince because he has been a drama teacher and teacher. Like it mean you need to do acting. You watch every movie. You think, yeah, this is he's cruel. Yeah, he's going to kill him. Like if they will show their mask face, but in actual life you are not like that. Yep.
Yeah, I'd want to, I don't know, I'd like to like crawl into his house
Mhm.
when he's like relaxing. And I just want to stare at him.
Yeah.
Just stare at him while he's sitting on the couch.
Mhm.
Like, what does he do for fun? What do they all do? What does Pierre like? What does Poilievre do? Like I unwind and I play video games sometimes, or I read like book. Like
Mhm.
I don't know what they do.
I
Do
don't
they?
know.
It's all an act. Same with like Pierre Poilievre, right? Like it's another one where you're
Mhm.
like you've had this look. You've worn glasses for over almost 30 years. And now all of a sudden you're having like a midlife crisis. Glasses are off. I am going to be buff now. And you're like, that's how genuine is that? I can tell you, probably not very genuine. They're all not genuine, but
yeah,
it's the way it goes, Sami. It's the way it goes.
yeah, I sent a request for all the leaders of these three main parties, Justin Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre, Jagmeet Singh, but it was not in my mind, your question. If they show up on my set with me, I am definitely going to ask them, what would you do for fun?
It is, yeah. It's fascinating. Like, what do you, and then watch them like freak because they're going to try to be like, they won't expect it. And then they'll be like, I like to do Canadian things. Like watch hockey. And you're like, that's weird. They'll like watch the robot. It's like an AI. It's like, yeah, you ask Chat GPT a weird question and it freaks out and it'll be like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Is there anything else? I don't know. Like as you said, we must be within our
I think we covered the election pretty well. We looked at all the different parties.
Yeah.
I don't really see anything much more than that. I think it'll be, and it said this is, as you mentioned with Brian Lilly, you know, by-elections don't matter until they very much do. And this is like a really crazy moment. We'll stop and see what happens.
Yeah.
If you know, if Friday is usually the day where information is dropped because then you have a weekend where the press can't get to you. So Friday afternoon, but you know, Chrystia Freeland saying we're going to stick on, but all it takes is like a couple days and all of a sudden that doesn't matter, right? And no one's going to remember that. No one's going to remember what Chrystia Freeland said today if Justin Trudeau steps down tomorrow. So it'll be a wait and see. The whole summer, a whole lot of time to think in his nice air conditioned house, staring at the wall and breathing. He's going to crawl back in the pod, Sami. That's what he does. He's going to crawl in the pod and just wait for 6 months and then come back out rejuvenated and young. So we'll see what he does then.
So do you think something new will come up on this Friday?
Friday, it's an interesting day. I think Fridays are an interesting day. And I think we'll have to keep our eyes on it. If there's a day to do it, I think a Friday before July, like it's like, bye, Canada Day. Oh, and then it's all, look at all this news. Peace, goodbye. That's probably the time to do it. And then at least that early, now people can start thinking of a new leader too, right? That's another big thing. If you're like, yeah, I'm going to be stepping down. Okay, cool. You have a summer to get some stuff going, but I'd say Friday. Friday's an interesting day.
Friday is a fun day.
It is, yeah, thank God. TGIF is what everybody's going to be thinking come Friday.
Yeah. So that's it for today. And thank you so much, Donovan, to joining me on Sami Parvez Show. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Sami. Take care.
It's always to chat with you. I hope you will continue to joining me in the future.
We gotta star in a movie, Sami. I think you and I is like a buddy cop. I think it's like you're the tough talking detective and I'm the goofy sidekick. I think there's something there, Sami. I think Hollywood's gonna be calling sooner rather than later. I think we're gonna something special start. The seed is planted.
Yeah, thank you so much. You take care.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I enjoy chatting with you. I said I think we've got it's a dynamic person, two very different people. I think we both agree on some things and disagree on others, and I think that's what makes it beautiful. It's a beautiful relationship. The odd couple, Sami. You and I are the odd couple.
Yes, don't know one.
All right. Well, take care, my friend. Good luck on that interview. You'll be in my thoughts. Rock and roll.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
You take care too. You take care. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna leave.